Good morning. Doing these Instagram videos is pretty fun for a couple of reasons. First, I haven't really started sharing it with that many people yet, but some people have still found it either way. And so that's cool. Wait, how many of these pills do I have left? Oh, dang. I am running out. I need to grab more. The Instagram videos. So following different creators, or I've seen people on YouTube or Instagram or whatever go through this sort of exercise of I don't know, putting something up daily or on some sort of cadence, right? I purposely want to set the bar low for myself just because I don't want to, I don't know. I think sometimes when you start a new habit, you try to go all in at once and you go through that honeymoon phase of the habit. So basically I don't want to do that. I want to, I'm okay gradually building up the habit. But with that being said, so far I'm 3 for 3 on days, uploading something, and at least keep it up while I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to, or forcing myself too much, and while I don't have an idea that I want to put out. Because what I'm trying to say with this is that I can resonate with comments that people that I follow that have done this type of thing in the past have made before, because I am experiencing it now, where sort of having it in your mind, oh, I want to put a video up today, then there's this fun little background task in my brain of maybe it's an extra sorting method, because then there's all these thoughts that come through my brain, but then there's an extra bucket that they can go into, which is video idea bucket. That bucket didn't exist before. Sometimes these are hard to open. There we go. And I think that's really what this whole purpose was about, that I keep mentioning, because I could feel the absence of that idea bucket before. Because there's some ideas that you get and you put in the bucket of, oh, I should tell this to my brother, or I should put this in this group chat, or I should tell this to my parents, right? Your ideas get sorted into, or the bucket of, oh no, this one's just for me, or this one's not even for me, I'm just gonna let it pass, and it comes and it goes. But then I felt the absence of I don't necessarily want to just tell this to someone and then have it float away after telling that person something. I want to capture it. I want to imprint it somewhere. And so that's, again, first the website, then also something like this, and then the Instagram thing. So now it's I don't know, I just had a video in the shower, or sorry, I just had an idea in the shower, not a video. And I could feel it. I was I could see the little new Instagram bucket, and I could be, oh, look at that, and I can get that idea. I was oh, there you go, Instagram bucket. and then that's sort of like a staging area, because then afterwards, then when I actually go to make the video, I look through my Instagram idea bucket and I go, this one, maybe another day. It still needs to cook a little bit longer. Back in you go, this one, I'm like, we can do this one today, and then I just get my phone out and then I just record it. A little inside baseball here. I don't even know if it's inside baseball, because I guess that refers more to strategy, not just like a look behind the curtain. The idea that I had today, which we'll see what the time delta is between marking that, I had the idea today, and then when I actually, compress it into an Instagram video. The idea that I just had 10 minutes ago was sort of reflecting on, I saw an Instagram story last week from sort of a friend of a friend, whatever, someone I know from here in Barcelona. And the story, they were filming like some elderly couples dancing at some sort of like street, event sort of thing. Like, it wasn't just like, on the street on the sidewalk. Like, no, like it was like a thing, but it was like a one of those small like street events thing. Like there was like a little minimal setup thing there, right? And so the video starts and she's filming the people dancing, and then she pans over, and then there's just these like, I don't know, 10, 12-year-old kids filming TikTok. Doing a little dance, filming a TikTok. And she puts in the caption, like, I fear for our future, or I fear for our, whatever. And so okay, so I guess I'll go in chronological order. When I first saw that, I was like, bro, that's like, you're like 20, I don't know, let's say you're like late 20s, and you're already making this boomer ass comment. Like but I guess, okay, I should probably surrender myself to it, because it's gonna happen for the rest of my life, and it's a timeless thing about humans, so why get frustrated over it, I guess. But yeah, every generation complains, or not complains, every generation makes these sorts of comments about the degradation of society or values or whatever of the next generation, right? Like, I think even there's like the famous quote, there's like, I don't know, one by like Socrates, or like, I don't know, some Greek, one of the Greek philosophers talking about, well, I do know Socrates's trial is about him supposedly corrupting the youth, but I guess that's not exactly the same. Okay, whatever. So where am I going with this? Like, it's just also, I do kind of want this one to be a little bit quicker today, so I need to be mindful of time. That just have some self-awareness and recognize that just because we have some cool traditions or something now doesn't mean that they're like the best. I guess there's maybe like a humility, like have a little bit of humility in like the current snapshot of humanity's traditions and values. That is to say, obviously there's something to preserving traditions and all, like, I'm not just saying, throw it all to the wind. Okay, but what am I trying to say? Like, recognize that when you complain about the next, or I keep saying complain, but when you make comments about the next generation, you're falling into, it's a well-marked landmine. Did I already make that video? Or I guess I made the video, yeah, I talked about it when I was driving, right? It's a well-marked landmine. Many people have, and I don't even know if that's the landline. I'm too lazy to think of the analogy of what the field would be. But it's a well-placed landmine because everyone falls for it. Everyone makes comments about the next generation like that, and just recognize that then, fucking the circle of life continues, Then the next generation comes and they'll complain about their next generation, and then so on and so on, and humans will keep being human and life goes on. And just because little kids are doing little TikTok dances doesn't mean that their generation is inferior to ours, because what does that even mean? Yes, it's cool that you want to, there's value in preserving maybe the tradition of whatever dance the old people were doing, but also, I don't know, think about how many dances do we not do? Think about what kind of dances were people doing 500 years ago that we don't do, and we don't miss them because we don't even know about them. Of course, I keep qualifying this sort of thing because I feel like the reactionary counter argument is oh, well, then you're just being dismissive of, why hold on to anything? Obviously there's a balance to this that I guess exists somewhere there in the idea. Because would it be cool if we had if there was a 500-year-old tradition dance thing that we did today? Yeah, probably. So should we try to preserve it? Sure. Yeah. But then I guess if it dies and then and then we forget about it, then we also don't really miss it. But I can see how that can be maybe a slippery slope. Whatever. Okay, so yeah. So definitely there's balance there between preserving traditions and also having space for new ones to come in. I don't even know if I'd like the word traditions for this. So maybe I need to think of a better word for that. Just human behavior. Just don't, we have a cognitive bias to view current things in a better, superior, romantic light, right? So it's the nostalgia for the vintage, or the things that are just our prior generations, but the ones that are just prior. What's the word I'm thinking of? The generations that are directly adjacent to us. We have a nostalgia for those, but we don't have a nostalgia for the ones after that. We don't have a nostalgia really for the 1800s, right? Unless you're Amish. So yeah, then Gen Alpha or whatever is gonna have nostalgia for Gen X to Gen Z maybe, and then the ones after that are gonna be it's a moving window, and then things will phase out and things will phase in, and that's just what it is, But and then people are gonna keep making comments about how their traditions are degrading and whatnot, and I guess that'll be that. Okay. As you can see, I had it's a half-baked idea that came to me in the shower just now, but I'll work on it. I'll leave it baking in my brain. I'll see what it really is my brain's trying to say here, and I'll make an Instagram video out of it at some point. There it goes in the Instagram bucket. Okay.